Welcome to the Lindsay and Tony podcast, where we talk about spirituality, business, and life experiences.
In this podcast, we're bringing our private conversations to you.
We believe that it's through discussion, action, and reflection that true change occurs. Hi guys, welcome back. We're so excited that you're here. Today's episode has been recorded twice. So this is the second time that we've done it. The audio did not work, so we're doing this all over again. This is all about how your connection to other mediums impacts your success. And this goes into your mediumship reading success, but also your success in your mission and the impact that you have on the world. So we're going to get all into this again, all over again, and maybe we may repeat some things that we talked about the other day for those of you who were listening live on Facebook, and we may add in some other pieces too.
Yeah, so think about this. Does this sound like you or somebody that you know? So you go and you do your readings, you go and study your books, you go and study videos, and then you go do your readings again, and maybe you stop doing readings for 3, 4, 5 months. You lose momentum. You're still all alone by yourself. You don't really feel like you have too many people that you could talk about authentic things with, like the stuff that's really on your mind. What you're going through is a psychic medium. And this cycle just continues and repeats. Or maybe you're somebody who you're joining other groups of psychic mediums. You're staying plugged in, right? But you're realizing that, oh, maybe I outgrew this certain group and I need to move on to another group, right? Maybe you're looking for other psychic mediums that resonate, right? Like a safe space is what you would call it. So you could be two different people, right? And at the end of the day, this podcast episode is all about that. It's all about how staying connected to other psychic mediums that resonate with you, resonate with your heart, drastically impacts your success. We noticed over the years that the psychic mediums that continue to level up are the ones that stay plugged in on a monthly basis, right?
Yeah.
Of course, you have your free time, you have fun and all of that, but they stay plugged in with other psychic mediums. You don't just go on this little island by yourself to where you start to feel lonely. You start to feel like you're losing momentum. You start to feel like the creativity is not flowing. So just think about that.
Yeah, and it takes a lot longer when you're doing this work if you go alone. At the beginning stages for me, I was doing a lot of research on my own because naturally I was a little bit of a skeptic. Growing up Catholic, I thought it was a sin to go to a psychic, didn't even know what a medium was. But as time went on, I started to recognize that it was very healing. I always believed in signs though, years ago. And it wasn't until Nick passed that I started to really develop it. And what ended up happening on that journey was I wanted to be alone at the very beginning stages of reading the books and journaling and doing meditations and seeking out, crystal shops and all of that. It was fun for me because I was in a state of grief. But as time went on, in order for me to learn, I had to find a mentor, and then I had to continue the practice. And I think it's so common for mediums to do a mentorship and think that's it. Like, I'm going to do the mentorship. I feel like I'm on a high right now. Everything's exciting and great. You want to tell everyone in your family and your friends what's happening. And then all of a sudden, it's like your little flower that closes up and it feels uncomfortable. And people start automatically either judging you or getting excited for you. But even if they do judge you or get excited, you have to have a space where you could actually go and present ideas and talk about the readings that you had. Maybe there's a celebration that you want to talk about with your reading, or you want to say, I thought that I was doing well with mediumship and now I'm so confused, I feel like a fraud. And you want to be able to talk to people that get it, because that's a very common theme that comes up with our students is they feel those feelings, those inner thoughts that come forward thinking, am I meant to be on this path? Even though at the back of their mind and their soul, they know that there's a reason that they're being drawn to it, right?
Yes, and we're talking to the person that you're committed to mediumship. This is something you'll do for the rest of your life, either part-time or full-time as your career. You can't just take one class, one support per year if you're that type of person. Right? If you're somebody that's going to continue to grow and level up your mediumship, your skills, your business to where you could be more impactful, this is what we're talking about. This is You need to be plugged in on a month-to-month basis. You need to be connected with other psychic mediums. Like, it reminds me when I played basketball. Like, I thought I was so good at the beginning because I was just playing versus people in my neighborhood, and I was just playing, versus people at the local Boys and Girls Club. But then I started to level up, and I played AAU, which is another skill level up. And then I started to realize, oh, wow. And they started being around people that were better than me, started to pull out something in me and started to force me to become better, right? It's so easy to stay in your comfort zone around other psychic mediums that maybe you feel that you're smarter than, or you're more aware than, or you have more skills in, right? It's comfortable to stay there, but if you want to grow, it's going to be like how I was with basketball. You're going to have to go out and play versus people that are better than you, or maybe that you perceive that are better than you, right? Because something hits you. Whenever you're around those certain types of people, you get this new energy. You start to take advantage of the mastermind effect. Think about it. Think about the last workshop you did, or mastermind, or retreat, or whatever you went on. Do you remember that you would have more creativity in those moments when you were at the workshop? That you felt like you were more clear with what you were doing. You felt like it was easier for you to become more, to go to that next level of mediumship, that next level in your life, right? You're taking advantage of the mastermind effect when you're with your right people. And at the end of the day, like what you're saying with science, you know in your heart, you know in your soul when it's the right time.
So I want to talk on that, what you just said, because there's two different types of people, and you're human, so you're gonna think both ways at some point during this journey. You said that when they're in the mastermind effect, they're thinking, okay, there's people around me that are, they're causing me to level up. Sometimes a human mind could think, I'm not meant to be in this circle.
Ooh,
because people are above me in levels, and because I'm afraid to give a reading, because what if I look like I'm, on level 1 when I want to be on their level, and that could really stop you. And that's the difference between excellent mediums and mediums that are just like kind of tiptoeing into a group and then coming out, and tiptoeing in and coming out. So you want to make sure that if you're striving for excellence, you do have to be around excellence in some way. And that means just people that are putting in the energy and the consistency. You don't need to be perfect. There's no such thing as perfect. But a lot of the mediums that we work with, and myself included, we want things to be perfect, and it's just never going to happen. It's not going to be achievable. It doesn't exist. But if you're making progress from the year before or the month before, then that is a good thing. So for me, I'm thinking of when I went from beating myself up about readings and group events to realizing I was sick of hearing my own negative thoughts and my own voice, and coming home and talking to Tony about it and saying, oh, I wish I could do better. And then being around mediums that were saying, oh, that was, I didn't feel like I did well. I started to pick up on, okay, these are little golden nuggets. I'm hearing the conversations around me, and I'm having those conversations and bonding over the negativity about how I could do better. It's time for a change. And it wasn't until the reflection that I noticed my growth, that, okay, I can say that I can do better, but then I'm picking up and I'm going to continue on. I'm not going to pause and sit in it for a whole weekend. I'm going to pause and think, okay, I could have got more pieces of evidence there. I could have felt a little bit more with the spirit realm there. But I'm going to keep on moving, and I'm learning from this.
Exactly. So with yourself, be gentle with yourself. This is a practice culture, we'll call it. Like, you're practicing to get better. It's okay to mess up. And whatever other mediums you're connected with in your circles that you're in, make sure that that's the environment. Right? You want to play in environments to where it's safe to mess up, and to where you feel safe to fail, because that's where you're going to succeed, is whenever you just let it all out. You get out of your head and you just go and you do it, right? So many times, like Lindsay was saying, we beat ourselves up. You go do a reading and you start to beat yourself up because you think that it needs to be perfect, right? So even in your own internal environment, atmosphere within yourself, it needs to be, let's just look at this like it's a game and we're playing. And each reading that we do, we're getting better, and that it's okay if we do mess up, right? You're human. It's going to happen.
Yeah, and it's something that has to be built into your circle. So one thing that I'm really proud of is our mediumship membership, Mediumship Mastery Circle. And we do practice mediumship readings, but we also leave time for questions. I noticed over the years when I'm in peer groups, and I still practice in circles myself, even while leading circles. But one thing I notice is there's a time frame where you want to get to practice and you don't really have time to ask those questions or talk about readings. You have to get into the practice. So when I kind of came to creating Mediumship Mastery Circle for me, my monthly circle, I wanted to build that in for my students and my members. These are mediums that are either doing audience events, getting paid for their readings full time, or they've done Reiki or Akashic Records and some mediumship readings, or, it's anyone that has taken some sort of mediumship class that wants to stay consistent, that's looking for that excellence factor where they just want to put in the effort. And the one thing that I like to build in there too is not only the practice and the questions, also having guest teachers come in there and having other resources for like a holistic view as a medium. Because what I found was over the years, when I wasn't taking care of myself mentally, like self-care and listening to affirmations, not just like, I am a medium, I am great, not that, but like really digging deep and reflecting on, oh, I have some deep stuff I need to work on perfectionism around mediumship. That doesn't exist. And creating those audios, I started to recognize the power in that for my mediums. And they always come to me and say, thank you so much for creating these audios for me, because I needed this before I went on stage or before I did a reading.
Yeah, exactly. So you're serving the whole medium. We forget sometimes that we're a human and a medium, right? Like we're channel and spirit, but we have our human side too. So we all have these different stories that are coming up that's stopping us from taking that next level. Most likely yours has to do with not feeling like enough. I'm not enough to go to that level, or to be that, or to do platform, or to create a course, or to write that book, or whatever it may be, right? That not enough feeling. So it's tackling the whole medium, right? It's like looking at all angles of it. Nutrition, practice, physical exercise,
that's
exactly.
The Mediumship Mastery Circle philosophy.
Doing the inner work. So like Lindsay said, we'll have guest teachers in Mediumship Mastery Circle. At times we'll offer to where I do one-on-one sessions, which we're doing now from June to August. I was just on the call with one of the members the other day, and she was so relieved just to be able to put in words what she was going through, some of her problems she was having in a mediumship, and just to be able to talk about her vision and different ideas that she wants to do with her mediumship. She was saying, this is so healing, was her exact words. This is so healing just to be able to express this in a safe space. And I think that's what we all need, right? We go around like-minded people who are heart-centered, who are similar to us, similar beliefs, and something starts to hit us. We start to realize that the problems that we think are so unique to us, they're not as unique as you think. Most of us struggle with the same exact problems on this, being a healer, being a psychic medium, whatever you're into. These same common patterns start to pop up, like not feeling like enough, right? Like, who am I to do this? Right. And you start to know these patterns, and then you hear it from somebody else, and then it just releases. It's like, wow, I'm not alone on this.
Yeah, and then it makes room for more growth that's going to occur when you do release that. And that's really huge, beneficial for everyone that's going through this coaching session with Tony, because I'm really working on the mediumship piece and also answering questions about business stuff, but to be able to go and talk about the inner struggles that comes through, that's really powerful. The other thing that comes through too is I find that people that want to join memberships or circles, they're like, I've already done a mentorship. I've done the retreat. I've done, I've put in the work. So now I need to go practice. Yes, that's definitely true. But it's just like fine-tuning things, just like an athlete would do. You're not gonna, you're gonna go and play through the football season and you have all this intense workouts that you're going to do to prep for that season. But people don't just stop working out, right? As football players, I don't know much about football, but they don't just stop.
You have time to where you rest, right? You plug it in, but you're not resting for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. Like,
you have to keep on going.
You're consistent throughout the whole year, or else you notice you start to lose that momentum.
Yeah, you hit a plateau, and the momentum to wind it back up is a process. You can wind it back up, but it's a lot more energy to use. But one of the things that comes from that is, mediums that we work with, it's so hard for them to actually ask for help, because a lot of the mediums that we work with, they're either teachers, they're coaches themselves, or they're doing the mediumship workshops, or their readings, workshops, they're leading all different types of things, and they feel funny asking for help and saying, I need help. But actually, if you're okay with asking for help, that means that you're in a space of growth that's really powerful. It should not be, I only need help when I'm just starting out, or I only need help when I'm at a plateau. It's like, don't hit that plateau. Stay consistent with the actions of doing the readings, having the self-development, and having it in one spot is the most amazing thing. And that's why, for me, I love being a part of Mediumship Mastery Circle, even though I'm leading it too with Tony, and like he's kind of plugging in too. I feel that every medium needs multiple things that helps them on their journey, because it's not going to just be the practice of mediumship. There's so much more to it.
Yeah, so think about the last year of your life, right? Think about what you've been doing. Maybe you've been plugging in, you've been connected to other psychic mediums, and maybe you just feel like you're looking for another group to where you're trying to find that safe space. Or maybe you haven't been, right? Maybe you haven't been plugging into other psychic mediums, connecting. Maybe you've only done it a couple times in the last year and you're realizing, wow, I feel lonely, right? So if you're either of those two, Mediumship Mastery Circle could be a great fit for you. You'll feel it in your heart and in your soul if it is. And if it is, trust that sign. It's a cheap monthly payment, and you get to plug in over and over and over again on a month-to-month basis with heart-centered, powerful psychic mediums that are on all different levels. Doesn't matter what level you're on, as long as you're committed. You're committed to continuing growing your mediumship, and you as a person, as a whole, you'll fit perfectly in this group.
And we want to hear from you. We want to know, what are you doing to stay consistent with your mediumship? Are you in a circle? And aside from the mediumship practice, what else are you doing to develop your human skills, your mindset skills? Because it really is not just about the mechanics, it's about the psychology behind the skills. They always say it's 80% psychology and 20% mechanics in everything that you do. So where are you plugging in the psychology piece, where you're prepping your mind and getting your mind prepared for that belief and that confidence? And you can't get confidence by just waiting for confidence to happen before you do the group event or before you do the private reading. You actually have to do the private reading or do the group reading to get the confidence. So you have to take those steps first to receive the confidence.
Yeah, so if you want something to change, if you want your next year to be different than your last year, obviously you're going to have to change something around. This might be part of it, right? Connecting to other psychic mediums. So huge, so drastic on the impact that it's going to have on you and your ability to go over those plateaus, to keep leveling up to the next level.
Yes. Okay, guys, we hope you enjoyed this episode. Share with us one insight. And the other thing I want to say before we go, we have two things coming up. One is the doors to our mediumship membership are closing soon. The other thing is on June 22nd, I have a free live Zoom class. And this workshop is all about how our connection with other mediums impacts our success. So we're going to go even deeper into that workshop. Right. So if you want to join, then click the link that I'm going to provide and join us there.
Right, and go experience that connection with other mediums in this free workshop and just get a little taste of it.
Bye, guys. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we did. If you liked it, leave a 5-star review on iTunes, and remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel too.
If you can think of anyone else that would love this episode, share it with them right now on social media or email. And remember, getting results is a process of learning, applying, and reflecting. Stay consistent and continue to grow every day.